What a bad time to click.
What we got, Chad?
A disaster.
I just consented to this. That was weird.
Chad, you want me to do the intros?
Oh, man.
All right, welcome back to another edition of Checkers, Wreckers, and What the Heckers. My name is Chad Beard, and I am a country music artist, content creator, and NASCAR super fan. I'm joined, as always, by my illustrious co-hosts. Please allow me to introduce them to you. Ladies and gentlemen, hide your razors and secure your upholstery. This man's hairline left town years ago and somehow took his dignity with it. Straight out of Ohio, so you know live already wronged him. He's the only VIP coordinator who can get you hot passes, cold beers, and unsolicited opinions all before noon. The follicle phenom himself, Rick Kojan, is here.
You know, what's up, man? Thanks for having me back. It's funny how this is like turned, right, Justice? Like in the past, they were like very complimentary. Now I've lost my dignity and I still got my hair, but what are we doing? That's fine.
When did you have dignity?
That's fine.
When did any of us have dignity?
There was a shot at the state of Ohio in there too. Thank you.
That's just remnants of the NASCAR going on. That's all.
Yeah. I left you totally unscathed on your Alabama debacle.
Listen,
that's how you come at me.
You got heckled yesterday too, and I stood with you. Anyways, let's keep going.
Yeah, there's a better.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
let's get to it.
This man carries himself like court is always in session. Calm voice, sharp brain, and absolutely zero patience for nonsense. When chaos breaks out, he's the guy restoring order, at least explaining why you're wrong. From Hendrick Motorsports, the man who brings the facts, the fire, and the final ruling, the Supreme Court Justice, Chris Justice, is here.
All hail.
Welcome back, boys.
I swear.
Call it to order.
Call it to order.
Oh, you're finally using that goddamn thing. That's awesome.
We are ready.
He figured out how to make the microphone pick it up.
Oh, that's what it was. I like that. Cool.
All right, boys. Well, we have already determined it's going to be a fun one tonight. We're going to let it fly. Let it fly. All right.
Oh, my God.
This man makes a living pushing buttons and occasionally crossing lines. A radio junkie, stand-up menace, and a certified button pusher who has been banned from being normal in at least 3 time zones. He grabs the mic, chaos follows. From morning radio to late-night bad decisions, give it up for the human soundboard himself, Matt the Casio Kid Mitchell.
Yeah. How about it? 3 time zones.
I love it.
What's up?
Somebody must have let me up if it's only 3 time zones. I must be a work release from the East Coast, I think.
Well, we're on the East Coast, so I don't know.
Shit. Yeah, well, that's why I'm allowed on, because I was banned to begin with. But now I'm here. But guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks for doing this.
When do you think this podcast went south? Because you went from Randy Couture to me. That's really bad. That's really bad, dude.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Look, people are going to love this episode. I'm excited about this episode. You've had me on your podcast before, and I'm excited to have you. So Matt and I have been friends for 20 years, maybe.
Since you were a police officer?
Oh,
yes.
Acquaintances, yes, 20 years.
Yeah, yes.
You didn't arrest him, did you? Hopefully you didn't arrest him.
It was a warning.
No, so
he poured it out on the ground and then stomped on it and then let me go.
No, we first met when he was this guy.
Stars.
Yeah, this guy's done everything. So he was the PA announcer for the Huntsville Stars, and I sang the national anthem there for a few times, and very strong chance that I was pursuing a young lady there. So I was there quite often.
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
I don't know how you never knew that, but I'm not sure that she pursued me back and never really turned into anything. I'll tell you this story. So
it sound like y'all were dating.
no, I mean, no, I was so awkward and I never knew like how to really like we talked a little bit, like we talked a good bit. And I'm still friends with her to this day and we're both happily where we're at. But so I did like there was a few times I like asked her out and it was kind of, you know, I don't know. It was kind of weird. Like she was unsure or whatever. And then one night, I was off work. I think I'd gotten off work and I was like already in bed and I lived in Albertville and she lived in Huntsville. And, she like texts me at like 9:00 at night and she's like, hey, do you want to go out? Do you want to go grab a drink? And I was like, 100% yes. And I had to be at work at like 6:00 in the morning, but I was like, screw it, whatever. So I get in my car and I drive to Huntsville and I go pick her up. And
how far?
It's
how far? Because we're not from Alabama. We don't know.
Probably 40 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe.
All right, you're putting time in. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I go pick her up and we get to the bar and I left my ID at home. They would not let me in the bar.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And so it was.
I thought you were going to say your wallet, like from Fast Times at Ridgemont High,
Yeah.
right? When he's out to dinner with in the
Well,
Italian restaurant.
I left my wallet at home, which had my ID in it. And so like, I had cash and like a little bit of cash in my pocket, but that was it. And like I just was so excited that this girl said, "Hey, do you want to go hang out?" And yeah, so I put my pants on and went. And yeah, so like I think we ended up
let them fly.
He let it fly.
so I think we went to Taco Bell and then
Sure you did.
went to her apartment and watched some movie that I've never heard of before. And we literally just watched the movie. And then I went home.
You're how old at this time?
An adult.
20, 24, 25.
That's tough.
Yeah, that
That
hurts.
story would have went over better if you like 16 or 17. But
No, I mean, I was an adult with
no, you're a grown ass man
with-
at that point.
with two children. So
I'm glad I didn't hear about that before this. I probably would have turned this down. I didn't know who I was dealing with. I didn't know who I was dealing with.
whatever.
I can't wait to hear the name after this.
Oh, you know who it is.
I know. That's why I can't wait to hear the name.
Anyways, so
Here at Checkers, Redneckers, and Homewreckers, my favorite podcast.
Oh God, we're never getting through this. All right, so let's talk about you. So you were from Huntsville, Alabama originally, right?
Nope.
Nope.
Gadsden.
Oh, that's even worse.
See, yeah. Huntsville's a move up.
Yeah, so you made it out of Gadsden without getting shot. That's
Not many
plus.
people can say that.
Right. But so your story really kind of it takes off your career path because you started out as an intern on I would say it was, at least at that time, was the biggest radio show in Alabama, right?
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah. Rick and Bubba at the time, late '90s, was huge. Luckily, I got in on the ground floor. They only had a couple affiliates when I joined in. I went to Gadsden State Community College and decided I met some people at the radio station. My whole career, and if depending on what we all talk about,
we're going to talk about all of it.
My whole career is right place, right time.
That's perfect.
Now you got to be able to take advantage of that, but I have ended up in the wrong room before, and I'm just like, well, I'm here. Let's see what we can do. But I knew a family friend who sold ads for the local radio station, and they were gods to me. They were radio gods, and it was as big as you could get in entertainment to me. And I actually first started at 15. I was listening to them in high school. And one Friday, they used to do this high school football scoreboard show.
Mm-hmm.
And way out of the box. They were like against the norm of radio. That was kind of their deal is we think outside the box. And it's what made them so successful. And they did this high school show. It was total, instead of like giving scores, they were giving out the golden plunger for the best restroom at the stadiums, or you call in and give the best concession stand or the worst, like just totally creative. And they used to do this chant, and I called in and did the chant. I was like, this is going to be hilarious. And I called into the chant, and I pushed a button on a keyboard where it made just the beat by itself. And I did their chant, and they were dying laughing. And then they were like, hey, what's your name? And in the span of literally like 2 seconds, I thought, man, I'm 15 and I'm home pushing a keyboard on a Friday night. I am not cool all of a sudden. I'm not going to tell you my name. And they were like, you got to tell us your name. And I was like, nah. They were like, well, you're the mysterious Casio Kid. And I was like, sounds great. Well, next Friday, it was the theme song to their show. And they, as a joke. And then so it ran with it. Like a few months later, they were out and about, and I went and saw them and introduced myself. I was like, I'm the mysterious Casio Kid, and they were laughing, and we had a good time. Fast forward to 18. I was 18, first year in college, and decided to go intern with them because I knew a family friend over there. Again, she was like, you should go intern with them. You're funny. And I was like, dude, those are radio gods. Like, I could never be in the same room with them. And she was like, just do it. You get credit for it at college. You can do an internship, the whole deal. I was like, now we're talking. I don't have to take a real class. Hell yeah. And so I went over there, and the rest was history. I jumped in with them then. That was in 98, end of 98, beginning of 99. And then our company got bought by a bigger company. They moved them to Birmingham. They exceeded all expectations in the first year. So their contract ran out after that first year. I think it was a huge bidding war, and they ended up getting the highest contract in the history of Alabama radio at the time. And then fast forward, they're syndicated, Sirius XM. They were on what was the country channel? I think they were on TNN for a little bit or something like that.
Yeah, TBS.
Turner South or whatever.
Yeah.
So they got TV. I mean, I happened to be there at ground floor, and it blew up. And I really, you like to think you could do it on your own. You could get places with whatever your expertise is. You think you could get there eventually, but without them, for real, I don't think I would be where I am. It taught me a lot about the business. They're great guys to me, great mentors. And, they drugged me along the whole time and taught me so much about the entertainment business. I'm forever grateful for them. And I was there intern end of 98, and then till I moved to California in 2003.
So at what point did you start doing stand-up?
It was about 2002. There was a long story short, there was a comedian that came in on the Rick and Bubba show a lot at the time. His name was Mickey Dean. He didn't start comedy till he was 50. And then within the first 5 years, he was the number one corporate comic in the state of Alabama. And he kept coming in and telling me to sign up for stand-up. And I was like, I don't do stand-up. I've never wrote a joke in my life. Just like really a storyteller. I mean, that in radio, you have to fill time. We have 12 minutes till the next commercial break. Does anybody have anything to talk about? So I was of that mindset, and I'd always loved Saturday Night Live, eventually Mad TV. That was what I really gravitated towards. And so I was like, nah, I'm not going to do any stand-up. And finally, one day he came in, and it was like a Wednesday or Tuesday, and he said, hey, what are you doing Friday night? And I said, nothing, I'm chilling. And I thought he had a show, and he just wanted me to come see it. And he was like, well, I need you to come down to the Stardome, which is the comedy club in Birmingham. He said, come down to the Stardome. And I said, well, I'm in. And he said, good, because I signed you up for open mic night. And I was like, what? And then naivete hit in. I was like, well, how much time do I got to do? And he's like, they're like, you got 7 minutes. And I was like, 7 minutes? It's nothing. And they were like, we're going to record it and play it back. And I was like, yeah, you are. This is going to be fantastic. And so I went down to the Stardome, did my 7 minutes, and
you let it fly.
I have crushed this, and had the time of my life. It was a rush I'd never felt before. And because you're in radio, it's very distant. You just do it and it goes out in outer space. And unless somebody walks up to you later and says, hey, that thing you did was funny, you never know about it. They just go on about their day. So this was instant laughs, which, I got from friends, I got from family, class clown in high school, the whole deal. But I thought, man, this was fantastic. And of course, Monday morning rolls around, 7:45, the biggest time slot there is, syndicated, Sirius XM, Turner South. And they're like, hey, Casio did his stand-up debut, and we've got the audio. We're going to play it. Oh. And I was like, yeah, dude, this is awesome. And as they're playing it, I'm going, hey, did y'all doctor the audio? Or they're like, there's nobody laughing. What's happening right here? And they're like, yeah, dude, that was what was happening. I was like, no, I heard laughs. And they're like, ooh, you weren't in the same room as we were. But it was like blindsided of, I was just feeling the rush of entertainment. So if I saw somebody smiling in there, they might have been laughing at how stupid I was coming off. But in my head, I thought I was crushing. And now I wish I actually had the audio now. It would be fantastic. But
that would be. But
then it took me a month or two. I was like, I'm never doing that again. That's not my cup of tea. Of course, you get egged on. Then you're like, maybe let me go in with a bigger plan than 3 days, and you want to attack it again. So I kept doing it until I moved to Los Angeles.
So what was your process for like writing these bits, writing your jokes, coming up with that? Like,
just storyteller. I just figured out how to tell stories. Like I think back on that first one I did an impression of my drunk aunt who drinks all the time, and it was a funny impression, but I didn't really have an ending or to any, you're just not used to that setup. So I just told stories. I've never been a joke writer. I've got some one-liners now that I can, I can do on stage. I've been doing it so long now. I've got some stuff, but I've never been you ever seen the Seinfeld doc where he's got like all the notebooks? And
absolutely. That's what I was just thinking.
That blows my mind. I could never do that in a million years. I mean, that just shows you why it's an art form. Everybody attacks it different. And I really didn't take stand-up serious until I got to LA. And I guess we'll get there eventually. But I ended up on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. And while I was on there, two of the guys who booked the comics that were on Leno, and they were also involved in a bunch of other comedy projects, but they were involved in Last Comic Standing, which was a huge show back then. And
I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah. And they were like, hey, you need to come try out for Last Comic Standing. And I was like, guys, I don't do stand-up. At the time I was doing improv school. I went to the Groundlings, which is sketch and improv. Will Ferrell went there, Kathy Griffin, Lisa Kudrow, Chris Kattan, Phil Hartman. Just a long list of people went to that improv school, and that's what I was doing there. And that's when I was actually walking to class when Leno stopped me. But they were like, hey, you got to try out. And I said, I don't do it. And it was kind of like a moment where they looked at me and said, you need to try out for Last Comic Standing. And I'm like, I have to get in that mindset of, this is what you do. You have to take advantage of opportunities of, I don't do stand up, but I should try out for a TV show. Like, what's the worst can happen? And so me being naive, I'm like, hey, like people on Melrose Avenue where they were lining up for the show, they were like camping out. That was like the American Idol. It was for comics, but they're like camping out for days. And I was just like, I got one condition. I'm not standing in line. I'm not camping out. I have no interest in that. If you can just get me to the front of the line whenever I get there, and they're like, yeah, that's the easiest thing we can do. Since, I worked with them. Like,
yeah, which is like, you talked about American Idol and The Voice and those things. Like, that's the thing you talk about, taking advantage of those things. Like, I didn't do that on the music side. Like, I had those producers from those shows, at different points. Hey, would you come on? And they give you you get the skip the line pass, and
Yeah.
you don't got to go camp out or do the stuff. You have this Nashville inside where you just get to go try out for the next set of producers or whatever.
Sure.
And I was always like, I'm not a reality show guy. I'm not a reality show guy. And now I'm like, 40 and washed up. And I'm like, what if I would have like, not that I don't know, I wouldn't have won one of those, but I didn't take advantage of that because for whatever reason, I was like, that's not the kind of artist that I am.
Or you lost your wallet.
Y'all think he's that kind of artist?
What kind of artist am I? Not much of one anymore, but anyways.
Still digging.
I'm waiting on Justice to slam me.
Listen, I'm just waiting for the next go round.
So tell us about Leno. I mean, you kind of just brushed through that. It was like, I was on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
Yeah, that was a big name drop just to breeze over.
Yeah, it's just
Watch
kind of
shows. First, how is he? He's fantastic. He was absolutely one of the best guys I've ever met in the entertainment business.
That's cool.
He, I got discovered because I was walking to class, walking to my improv class, and if you ever been to LA, I'm sure you guys have been to LA and seen what it's like. They used to, for the Tonight Show there, they would walk around and do segments on the street, but he wasn't there. They were just getting segments. And so I walk up on this crowd. I'm actually mad because if anybody's ever been out there, it was at Johnny Rockets on Melrose Avenue. And I'm walking down the street and there's this crowd. I'm like, I'm late for class. I need to get around this crowd. And this guy stops me and he's like, now you got to imagine, I have left my apartment. My fat ass is sweating 2 blocks from my apartment because I'm walking to comedy class. I'm in sweatpants and a t-shirt. And he's like, hey, man, you want to be on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno? And I'm like, no, I need you to get out of my face. And he's like, no, man, it's the Tonight Show. I go, hey, dude, I don't want tickets. Because they would be like on the beaches and they don't want people in the crowds. So they're giving out free audience. I'm like, dude, I don't need tickets, dude. He's like, no, you want to be on the show. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, we're doing a segment and it'll just be real quick. I said, hey, I'm walking to class. I'm late for class. And he goes, all right, we'll make you next. And I was like, okay. Again, I need the VIP front the line pass. You're speaking my language here.
That's the same thing he told me when I asked him about doing the podcast. He's like, if I'm doing it, we're doing it now. I'm not waiting till later.
Don't wait for another guest. I said, is he here or is this one of your segments that you video? And he's like, well, does it matter? To him, everybody's like, yeah, I want to be on the Tonight Show. But I'm like, I'm not just doing some segment. And he's like, does that matter? And I go, yeah, it completely matters. And he goes, well, he's here. And I go, okay, well, sign me up. I'll be next and I'm ready to go. And then I go, what are we doing? And he goes, it's a segment called Good Dancer, Bad Dancer. And so he's going to interview you. And then after he interviews you, they're going to cut back to the studio live. And they're going to, the crowd is going to see your interview. And then he's going to go, do you think Casio is a good dancer or a bad dancer? And this is going to cut to me dancing. And so I'm like, well, okay. Not how I thought my big TV debut was going to go dancing, but here we go. And so you
were Dancing with the Stars before Dancing with the Stars.
Yes, I was. Great interview. We had a blast. I actually had a Rick and Bubba shirt on. He's like, who is Rick and Bubba? And I'm like, oh, it's a radio show in Alabama. He's like, oh, imagine that. A radio show in Alabama named Bubba. And I get through my deal. And they're like, all right, you got to dance. So they start playing music. And I start just bringing it, man. I'm like backing up against the light pole and spanking it. And I'm on the ground, the whole deal. And perfect timing, a cop rolls up because now there's a crowd. Cop rolls up. And as I'm dancing, Leno grabs me and is like, yeah, I'm glad they're finally here. We got to take you to the cop car. So that was like my whole segment. So I'm like, okay, cool. And the guy's like, hey, man, we'll try to send you an email when it comes out. Cool. Thanks. Go to class. I mean, it's like a month or so later. I'm like, that's never going to air. And he's like, hey, they sent me an email. I was like, hey, just let you know, you're going to be on the show. Your segment's going to air. So of course I promote it, tell everybody, shooting out that bulletin on MySpace. And,
MySpace.
upgrade my song and everything. Got my glitter graphics going. I'm like, I'm about to be a TV star. And so they do the segment. You know, I got people over my apartment. We're having a fun time. And then about another month or so goes by. And I'm just like, hey, that was a fun thing I got now. And about a month later, this guy calls me and says, hey, is this Matt? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, I'll change his name. This is Scott, and I work for the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. And I was like, hey. And he was like, hey, we thought, you know, your segment got great reviews and people were talking about it, and we'd just be interested to see if you wanted to come in and do some stuff with us. And I pause, and if you are Chad's children and watching this, you might want to put your earbuds on.
No, you're good. You can say anything.
He says, I'm with the Tonight Show. I want to see if you were interested in working with us. And I was on the phone and I went, who the fuck is this?
Fuck yeah.
And he goes, he did that. He's laughing just like Justice. He goes, what? And I go, who is this? Is this one of my buddies? And he's like, no, I'm Scott with the Tonight Show.
Right, because he called you on your like, Nokia 8710. And,
yeah, oh yeah,
yeah.
I had the old Sprint phone back then, dude. And he goes, yeah, man. And I said, hey, I'm not biting. And he goes, he's laughing, and he goes, would you like to call the NBC switchboard and get to me? And I was like, yep. And he goes, okay. So wow. I literally hang up. I Google or whatever search it was then, MSN or something. And
Ask
I'm like,
Jeeves.
yeah. And I'm like, NBC. And I go through some hoops, man. They're expecting a call. They're like, what? Hold. Boom. I get back to his office and he is laughing as he answers. He goes, now can we talk? And I was like, yeah, whatever you like, I'd like to do. So,
wow.
So I almost blew that again. And then I went in and talked to him, and they, this was like let's say it was like a Tuesday. It's the middle of the week again. And he's like, it was the guy who stopped me on the street. Dave Hansen, shout out to Dave, was really my guy. You gotta, as you guys know, in whatever field you're in, if you're breaking into that business, you got to have somebody going to bat for you and going, absolutely. Hey, this is my dude.
Yep.
And Dave went to bat for me every single time. And but he was there. Scott, the casting director, is there. And they had like 3 other, writers in the room. And they're like, hey, this is the deal. Y'all have seen it. What can we do with him? Tell us about you. And so I'm telling them, I moved from Alabama, trying to break it. I've only been here I'd been there not even a year, probably, and almost a year. And they were like, well, here's an idea. What if we just play on that and we send him to different scenarios where he's, it's a redneck breaking into show business? And I'm sitting there going, yeah, I guess I can pull that off. And they're like, where can we
let me work on it.
Yeah, where can we do? Maybe we put him into auditions, or maybe it's music or whatever. And they're just, they are rapid fire spitballing. I'm like, boy, this is moving pretty fast. Thought it was gonna be like an interview, and then we part ways, and they're like spitting out ideas. And then they're like, hey, just by the way, whatever we do, make sure you don't change your voice. Like, that's kind of the hook. And I go, you think I wouldn't have changed it by now if I could change this voice? Like, you think this is the voice I changed it to? Like, I haven't thought about whether I should get rid of this accent or not. They were like, yeah, that's kind of the hook. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And so the first idea was, hey, maybe we think he's going to break into pop music. So we sent him to Britney Spears concert. Well, they said, we'll send him to a concert. And somebody was like, hey, Britney Spears is doing a show. And this is when Britney Spears, not when she's on Snapchat swinging knives around in her bikini. Not that I follow her, but she just posted again. They were like, hey, let's send her to Britney Spears and interviewing the crowd and blah, blah, blah. We'll try to hook up a deal. They're like, okay, when you call her people and see if it's clear, blah, blah. And then so I'm like thinking, well, Britney Spears, man, she's probably got a pretty big venue out here, you know? And they're like, oh, it's at the Staples Center. And I'm like, okay, just the Lakers. Okay. And I'm like, when's the show? And they're like, oh, it's Friday. And I'm like, well, we're going to do something in a few days. Like, I know I have a little bit of a life. I need to move some things around, not much, but, and they're like, yeah, we got to go. We got to do it. So we literally, within 4 days, we're shooting my first Leno deal after that, which is it's just insane. And then for the next 2.5 years, you know, they just pitch you in different scenarios. I happened to be there when they used to have a guy they called Ross, the big gay intern. He had his own spinoff, super funny dude, had his own talk show for a while. So he had like took that man on the street guy and spun it into a career, which they had a couple people do. Like at the time, Tom Green was one of their man on the street, dude. The MTV comedy dude. Wow. He was like one of their man on the street, dude. And they just hired Stuttering John Melendez from Howard Stern to be their voice guy. So I was like, what am I doing? You know, you have imposter syndrome for a little bit where you're like, I'm not supposed to be right here. Then you have that battle where you're like, no, this is exactly why you came out here. So you have that internal battle of, I am doing what I'm supposed to do. And then there's that part of you goes, man, they're going to figure me out sooner or later. But so we did that 2.5 years of them just sending me out doing stupid, silly man on the street stuff. It was incredible. And I thank them because I paid all of my rent checks in LA with that.
So you was in the improv class, turned to Jay Leno. So you still continued the class, or you was like, the hell with it?
No, I'll still continue the class. Yeah. I mean, that class, the Groundlings, is legendary. Some of the more recent people, Kristen Wiig was there and a couple others. It was just a feeding for either Mad TV or Saturday Night Live at the time. You know, I sound like the old guy that I could have played ball if my knee wouldn't have blew out. But what they had at the time, long story short, every class of the Groundlings, and look, it might be changed. I haven't been there in over a decade or so. Every class you went there was a pass, fail, repeat. Pass, repeat, or your road ends here. So you would get through the class and your teacher would be like, hey, I think you're getting it. Because one class might be character and you spend months on character work. How do you develop characters and what you do with them and how to get out of a scene. And one class is just improv or whatever the case may be.
Gotcha.
And so your teacher would be, yeah, you got it. Go to the next one. You're almost there. Why don't you repeat this class? I think you have a good grasp on it. Or thanks for playing. It's been a great run. We won't take any more of your money. We've had a good run. And so I went to where their last thing, they have the main company. It's kind of like their players. It's like the big dogs. They're doing a show every week there at their theater. They have the Sunday company, which is kind of like the up and comers, and you're kind of waiting on your slot. You're kind of in the minors, waiting on somebody to get a movie deal and move off the main company, and then they'll bring somebody up. And then before that was what they call the writing lab, which is that was where you got real serious. You're now actually writing sketches and ideas, and maybe you write something and it gets on the main company or the Sunday, like that's when you're starting to drill down. And if you're making it to the writing lab, you're locked in after that. Gotcha. The problem was that takes such a long time going through all these classes that people start getting projects. People might have popped off and already got famous. People might have died or moved back home or, got out of whatever the case, got married, had kids and said, I got to get a real job. Whatever the case may be, the writing lab at that time was over a year wait. Like if
shit.
Hey, you're on the writing lab. We'll call you when the slot opens up because it just takes forever to get there and there's so few spots. And then, because there might be 2 or 3 classes and we're going to take however many, it might be everybody in that class, or it might be a handful. It was usually, just a handful or 1 or 2 or whatever. But, you just keep matriculating till there's less people, but then it got to build up. And as that build up, life happened to me. Both parents back to back got sick. I decided to go back and be with my parents. I'll go back and never go, now it's 6 months, now it's a year. And now you're back home in Alabama. And I literally, it was a crushing day when I knew I was back in Alabama for a while. I needed to be here. And they called and was like, "Hey, your writing lab spot's open up." I'm like, "Son of a bitch. I'll have to pass this time. Call me on the next one." And then they call you on the next one. And if you're not ready, then it's a whole deal.
They boot you out.
Yeah. They got it because they got people clamoring for those slots, but
right.
So I did that until then. I got my run. I learned so much in that. I made great friendships out of that. When you're just whatever field you are, if you're around those people that have that same mindset, it's just, as y'all know, you're like, dude, this is where I'm supposed to be. These people get what I think. And it's just a great place to be. The Groundling's phenomenal. Leno, great run as well.
Yeah. Especially in the creative world, like just being surrounded by other creative people, just it forces you to be so much better than you.
Yeah. I mean, you have that imposter syndrome, but you're like, I need to figure out how to belong though.
Yeah. Figure it out. You either work to improve yourself or you get exposed for being a fraud.
Yeah. And so when I was back in Alabama, and then it was like, hey, I need to get some funds coming in. One of that was stand up, and I just did it for the last Comic Standing deal. I did some stuff, but mainly I was doing sketches and stuff. So I was like, I could get back on the circuit, and I should say not on the circuit. I should get on the circuit because I wasn't really focused. I was just doing open mics before I moved. Let me get back out there, start doing these mics, start making those connections with comics, and figure out how, because there's no sketch and improv at that time in Alabama.
Correct.
We're not doing a Saturday Night Live sketch in the middle of Gadsden. So let me do stand up, at least get some funds coming in and figure this thing out. And so that kind of stuck for a few years of, I would take a sketch that I'd already had, and because I'm a storyteller at heart. So let me figure out how to tell that story, put myself in that situation or somebody else. So that's why I never really wrote. It was, let me take this story and a piece of that story. And this is, my cousin got drunk and did this. And then I did this when I got drunk. And now it's one story, and I can fill time and handle myself that way.
So, I mean, you mentioned the last Comic Standing thing a couple of times. What was that for you?
Imposter syndrome again. I go in, they said for your tryout, you've got 2 minutes, which, for a storyteller is impossible. I'm like, I don't even know what to get into for 2 minutes. It takes me 2 minutes to set up a story and tell you who the characters are. Cause again, I wasn't writing jokes. So, I got this sketch. My mom hates it, but
those are the best.
Yeah. The sketch I wrote was, hey, if this comedy thing doesn't make it, I wrote it like a fake infomercial, almost commercial. I was going to get into promoting festivals. And my first idea, I said, there's a big gap in festivals with Christian music. There's not a lot of Christian music festivals. Now, again, I went to a church with 30 people in it where my mom's in the choir. The choir's 5 people. I grew up in that. So like I'm in this and my mom's hearing this and for the first time whenever I did it, and she's like, oh, this is good. He's talking about the Christian music. And now you're about to see where it takes a turn. I said, the catch for a festival, when you guys think of festivals, they got to have some weird name to catch your ear, right? What's the big music festivals?
Like
Coachella,
yeah,
Coachella, Bonnaroo, whatever, Lollapalooza.
Yeah,
they got crazy names that they just stick out. So I was like, we got to have a good name, and we're gonna have all the best Christian bands, all of them, like the Christian rapper 50 Repents and Leonard Center and Creed and Dave Matthews, Mark, Luke, and John band. And we're going to have all the good Christian bands. And we're going to name the festival God Jam. And I was like, just imagine the pastor. And he's like, hey, before you leave the service, don't forget to go out there and get your God Jam Cons Festival tickets. And and hey, this God Jam is going to be the best God Jam festival there's ever been. And so
God damn it.
So I took that as a sketch, as a bit. And so I do this bit, and they got some judges there. We're at I believe it was the Comedy Store at the time. So you're in this legendary comedy club, and you're going out and you're doing your deal. And then if you get past them, that's no crowd. That's just the three judges. If you get past them, you come back and perform that night, whether they're film it, and you might bomb and they might throw it on. You might do good, but you're actually in front of a crowd. And so they're like, hey, be here tomorrow, 4 p.m. You got to do a bunch of paperwork, sign your life away, the whole deal. And so I go into this room. I go upstairs at the Comedy Store, and there is Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, who's he's not as big as he is. I mean, size-wise he is, but not as famous as he is, because he popped off on there.
Right.
Doug Benson. I look over and I go, man, you look familiar. This guy's talking to me. I'm like, you look familiar. Would I know you from somewhere? Are you comic? And he goes, most people know me as Skippy from Family Ties. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know you still existed. But what are you doing? And he's like, I do a residency in Vegas. And I'm like, again, why am I sitting at this table? I'm with the Yankees right now. I don't even play baseball. What am I doing? And like Doug Benson had a special out at the time, and the whole special is about smoking weed. And we're sitting there filling out this paperwork, and he goes, hey man, you got to page 13? And I'm like, no. And I flip forward, and it's like, do you smoke cannabis? Have you ever been charged with any cannabis related offenses? And he looks, and I look at him, I go, well, how are you answering that? Don't you have a special out about that right now? And he goes, you got to lie in Hollywood, kid. No. And he just wrote no in front of me. I'm like, okay. And so I did my segment and clearly did not make, but hang my hat. Now, thankfully I knew people, but I got to top 50 in LA with one sketch. I would have bombed if I got on the show. I had no more material besides those 2 minutes, but God Jam got me through that one segment for Last Comic Standing. I mean, I would have panicked. I really would have had a panic attack if I would have got accepted. I was relieved to be knocked off that show.
So do you still use that bit?
Every now and then. Yeah. I have people who have known about it since then. And every time I see them, they're like, why don't you do that bit, man? Why don't you do the God Jam bit? It's just there. Maybe now the YouTube. See, I hadn't even thought about it. Maybe on social media, it'll be great for social media. I need to film it as a sketch. My mom would really hate me for that if I actually put it out in video form where everybody can watch.
Let's just do a special. Just build a whole special around it.
God Jam Comedy Festival. That's going to be my deal. Yeah, let's do it. Chad, put it together.
I'll film it.
We need you singing at the Christian Music Festival.
Oh yeah.
See?
Come on, Chad.
All right. Let's talk about what happens when you get back to Alabama. You're doing this stand up, and then what's next?
Oh, what is next?
Well, now you have a radio show of your own. You're not intern at somebody else's radio show.
Well, yeah, I doing stand up. One of my good friends in life was a guy named Cole Kublick. Say was like he's dead. He is fully alive, and you can see him on ESPN, SEC Network every single weekend. Yeah, he is the sideline reporter for the SEC Game of the Week. But at the time, he had a sports show in Huntsville. We had been long friends, and he said, "Hey, when you're not on the road, you should come sit in and just goof off with me, especially in the summer when there's no football." And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like a good idea." So I would sit in on him, with Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, and then I go on the road, and hey, if you're back in town, come crash on the couch, hang out. And then finally he was like, hey, I really need a co-host. They're willing to pay you. At the time I was about to get engaged. I was that close. I was in a deep relationship. And of course, the ladies don't love the entertainment business that much. When you're in Sheboygan on Friday night and everybody else is on a date, it kind of sucks. Hey, we can go out on Tuesday when I get back. Not a good deal. But anyway, she was. I don't want to say it as a bad thing, but pushing me. What if you got something a little more stable? Maybe some insurance would be great. Stuff like. And so I was like, hey, this is perfect timing. I'll do the show. I can still travel. Yeah, of course. So I was with him a year and a half. And about the time I got my apartment in Huntsville, because at the time, and I was only home 2 or 3 days a week. I would just crash at my parents' house and then go back on the road. So it's like, I want to move to Huntsville now because I got to be on the show every day when I'm not on the road. And literally the week I closed on my apartment, like 4 days later, I'll never forget it because the only furniture I have in my apartment is a blow-up mattress, and I have 2 of those plastic patio chairs, but they're in my living room because I don't have any other furniture. And Cole was like, hey, man, you at home? And I'm like, yeah, dude, you got to come over and see the pad, baby. He's like, all right, I'll be there in a second. And so he comes in, and we're sitting 2 giant. Now I'm just a fat tub of lard, but he is
played football at Auburn.
He's starting center for 4 years at Auburn. I mean, he's 6'4", over 6'5", 300 something pounds. And so we're just 2 grown men sitting in this little tiny patio chair. And he's like, hey man, they're going to let you go. And I'm like, who? And he's like, the radio station. And I'm like, oh, that's great, dude. I thought he was messing with me. And he's like, no, they're going to let you go. I said, for what? And he goes, well, you don't sell anything. And they feel like, he was Auburn, and they're like, they want a diehard Alabama guy to argue with me. And I was like, well, I didn't get hired to sell. So I'm not sure why I'm getting penalized for that. And then, I'm not just going to fake argue with you. That's not the fun part. And, because it was that's when all these morning shows on ESPN start popping off, where they're just arguing all the time. And, so they let me go from that. Luckily, I never missed a paycheck. Less than a month later, at the time, they were looking for a morning show on the rock station in town, who used to be huge, which ironically, they came on the air in 2000, and their opening morning show was Rick and Bubba. Mm-hmm. So I was on there, but then they were no longer on there. They got a guy on there for a few years who was very shock jock, Howard Sternish almost. Can't do that on terrestrial radio. Got a big fine, kind of like in college. Ooh. Instead of going on probation, hey, we fired the coach. Well, the company was like, we fired our morning show guy. He's no longer here. Take it easy on the fines. Anyway, so they're looking for a new morning show. People was like, hey, Casio just got fired. Y'all should talk to him. And I met my current.
That's a huge selling point. Yeah. Casio just got fired.
Yeah. You should talk to him.
He comes highly recommended.
Yeah. He's desperate is what he is. And my co-host had already been a Birmingham radio legend. His name is Jimbo Wood. And he was there in the Mark and Brian days, and had been all around the world. And we had never actually crossed paths somehow. It was really weird. But we sat down and talked. He was like, come sit in and let's see, because he was doing the show by himself. And he was like, I got to have somebody in there, because he's more of like the, in a comedy duo, he's the straight guy. He's going to set me up, and, that's what he wants to do. So we did like a 2-week, just come in and sit in, and then they hired me and was like, hey, we'll pay you for the 2 weeks trial. So I literally technically never missed a paycheck. We've had great success there. They were in like 10th place in the mornings when I got here. I didn't even know there was 10 morning shows in town, but they were 10th somehow. And then now every time we're 1, 2, or 3. Three's a bad time for us. So we've had a great time. We've been together for 13 years now, 14 years. So
good run.
And then they're great for say what you will about radio. That's another debate for another show on where terrestrial radio is in 2025. But we are still employed, and they a great company. They let me go. I go almost every other weekend. I'm on the road. They never blink an eye. Now we've started, thanks to this technology, I can do the show on the road now. It kind of gives it a bigger feel of, hey, I'm out here I'm out here in Austin, and it's fun me telling the stories about what we're doing. So, knock on wood, man. I get to talk for a living. I do all my podcasts, talk to wrestlers and the whole deal. So I
wanted you to get into that next. The whole wrestling.
Yeah, you see the background
there.
You see the background.
I seen it. Nature Boy.
Yeah, Ric Flair.
Oh man, the best.
I've shared many drinks with the Nature Boy. I'm divorced now, but funny story. We were at Ruth Chris in Huntsville, and Mr. Ric Flair had met me probably 5 or 6 times, and we're eating lunch. There's probably like 8 of us. I think it was like 4 couples, and he's there with his lady and my best friend Conrad and his girl and some more people. And we're sitting there and we're talking, and we've been there like an hour at this Ruth Chris. It's like 3 p.m. So nobody's in there. It's in the side of a hotel.
Yeah.
So we're getting loud and rowdy, a lot of drinks flowing, way too many for 3 p.m. and on a Wednesday, and my ex, who, look, guys, if you don't know anything about me, if you see any girl I date, your boy can sell. Okay. I know I got fired from the radio station for not selling, but I can sell when it counts. I've outkicked my coverage.
Outkicked the coverage. I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Every girl I've ever been with, people go, no way. But she gets up, goes to the restroom. And as she leaves, Ric Flair looks at the entire table and goes, hey, who is that? And we all look around, we're like, her? And they're like, yeah. We're like, that's Casio's wife. And he just looks over and he goes, that's your wife? And I go, yes, sir. And he goes, huh. So then he goes back to talking and we have drinks. She comes back from the restroom, sits down. He stops the story. He turns and goes, you're his wife? And she goes, yeah. And he looks at my buddy Conrad and he goes, Conrad, I don't know much about Casio, but he's either got a hell of a lot of money or a fairly good sized hog on him.
Dude, that was coming.
And my wife goes, neither. And I was like, thank you. Appreciate it. This is a great dinner. But
so your wife had jokes too, huh?
Yes. She's an engineer. She's an ex now, but she's my ex. But yeah, she was an engineer. I like to say, all
it didn't change her profession.
No, she's still an engineer, technically.
He said she's an engineer. Well, she's
an ex-engineer.
Yeah. All engineers are attracted to me. I'm like a problem they think they can fix. They're like, man, that math ain't mathing, but I think I can figure it out and get him straightened out. And it does not happen. But yeah, I'm in the wrestling space. I do a bunch of, there's a group called Ad Free Shows, and it's all behind a paywall for wrestling fans. And I've done wrestling pods for 2 referees, Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick. Is anybody wrestling fans? Or I don't know who I'm ever talking. I don't want to nerd out too much.
Yeah, I mean, much more like old school wrestling. But
Nick Patrick was.
Yeah, go ahead.
The NWO ref. I don't know if y'all remember the NWO back in the day.
Yeah,
I remember NWO.
He had a neck brace on and did the whole deal. He was their referee. I do a pod with him. There's other guy, Mike Chioda. He's been a ref for 35 years till he retired a few years ago. He was in Rock Hogan. I mean, he's the ref for that. So he's been in the ring many times. I did a show with him. I did it with the Godfather, all aboard the Ho Train. I do it with with Road Dogg, the Road Dogg, Jesse James. Got 2 words for you, suck it. I told him when we started doing the pod, I was like, man, you about got me suspended back in the day. We're walking around to teachers.
Everybody. If you grew up in the 90s, you exit out.
And then man, I filled in and did it with Tony Schiavone and Jeff Jarrett and Flair and Jim Ross and all.
So how'd you get into that space?
Well, Conrad Thompson, we call him the Podfather. He is my best friend in the world. He's a mortgage guy here from Huntsville, but he was a wrestling fan, and he would actually, he met a couple people, and then they vouched for him. They would come hang over to his house. He's, very successful mortgage guy, very nice house.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, he used to have all the radio ads all over the place.
Yeah,
and the TV ads in Huntsville. Yeah,
yeah, fantastic, super successful businessman.
Yeah,
and he would have like wrestlers over to his house. Like they would he would be like, hey, I'll come over to the house. We'll feed you. We'll go out to eat, whatever you want to drink. And, at first they go, oh, I got to stay in a wrestling fan's basement. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
he's got this huge multi-million-dollar mansion on the side.
So it wasn't the normal basement.
Yeah, normal wrestling fan basement. But once, one of the dudes goes, then they're like, oh, this is fantastic. What, does everybody come hang out? And he's like, no, I kind of scare them, I think. So then they would be like, who do you want? And they would just literally like call somebody. All right. You want Ric Flair? Okay, boom. They called Ric Flair. Flair came over. Somebody had a bunch, Jake the Snake and Terry Funk and just a bunch of people coming over. And then he met this guy named Bruce Pritchard, who, if you were a wrestling fan in the 80s, you knew as Brother Love, which everybody hated. He had the red face and the white suit, and he did the interview with everybody. But anyway, he had a small part. He had a part on air as Brother Love, but really at the time, nobody knew because we were kids. He was like basically number 3 in charge of WWF. So he was up there. Well, now at the time.
So he's like the Bischoff of WWF.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I've done many pods with him. Great guy.
Yeah. And you connected me to Garrett, and I love that guy. Dude, I love that
guy. He started talking with Bruce, and he just started asking questions of Bruce. And Bruce is like, I've never been asked these questions before. He goes, what? And he was like, and Conrad was like, well, that's what wrestling fans want to hear about that are my age. We're adults now. We want to hear, how did this get booked? Why did these guys hate each other? Who was having sex with who? Who was doing what drugs? You got, that's the deal now. You want to hear the behind the scenes. And he's like, why would anybody want to hear about that? And we're like, we're adults now. That's what we want to hear about.
Right.
And he's like, you should do a podcast. And Conrad ended up doing like an 8-part pod with Ric Flair. And Rick wasn't, I don't think at the time, wasn't very interested in it. He just got so much stuff going on. But, they wanted him to try it, and he tried it and backed out. So he'd done that. And then he decided to do that pod with Bruce Pritchard. And I'm gonna get the numbers wrong, so I apologize, Conrad, if I undersell you. But they did basically about their 3rd episode. They're at like 500,000 views, like right out of the gate. Oh
shit!
Just popping off because once those stories went viral,
right?
And everybody goes, "Have you not heard Bruce Pritchard talking about this?" Boom! It just exploded, and it created this whole wrestling space. There was a few, and I'm not saying he created the wrestling pod space, but he took it to a different level at the time. And so now he has the own deal, ad-free shows. You can check it out. They do some stuff in front of the paywall. They still have Bruce and Eric Bischoff and Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross. And they've had many others, Kurt Angle and Arn Anderson and literally whoever. Mick Foley, all of them have went through there, and most of them still have a show. But it kind of started that space of big fan clubs, and so he's put on. Since then, it's blown up into wrestling conventions and the whole deal.
Yeah,
and luckily, I've rode his coattails, so they're sturdy, and got into the wrestling space with him. It's just because I like to talk for a living, so. Just give me a mic. I'd rather do that. These hands are soft, my friends. I'm manual labor right here. Okay. Last time these did manual labor was making pizzas in high school. Okay. When I figured out I could talk and get a check, that was
hell yeah.
He was off and running, huh?
Yeah, it was game over. I did gutters with my dad. I did tile and marble with my uncle.
And
I
he was like, fuck
hey,
that.
yeah, I was like, this is bullshit. My dad was like, I needed to fire you because you kept telling jokes to my crew. And he's like, they're alcoholics. They're about to fall off the scaffolding as it is. I don't need you telling jokes. Like, well, they were a great crowd. Now that I think of it, they were great. Imagine that. I fast forward. I'm getting paid to tell drunk jokes. That's it. I'm telling jokes to all the drunks now. So
I like it.
So you was working on material, doing gutters with your dad and your crew.
Just, because I figured out if I could get them distracted and laughing, I wouldn't be having to do anything, Yeah. So it was just, everything's been a story. Again, if I don't have to do manual labor, I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
I like it. All right, Ricky, I've seen him. He's over there taking notes. Rick is the best.
No, that's not necessarily true. I'm enjoying this one.
No, that's never a dig at you. I love that you take notes. You always come back with the best questions. So let's
I don't know if they're the best. Let's not build me up that much, there, Podfather. Just relax.
All right. Come on,
Podfather, Chad.
You are now the Podfather, Bearden. Man, I took that note. Does that count as a good note? You're the Podfather.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I'm going all the way back to like when you had to do that open mic and you had 3 days to prepare.
Yeah.
Like, how did you even think to come up with the drunk aunt? And like, did you rehearse it? Did you practice? You only had 72 hours. I mean, you just went up and told a story about her?
Yeah. I can't remember what else I did to get there. I know that was the meat of it. And you know what the funny part is? I just been doing that impression like at our family functions. You know what I mean? Like, it's Thanksgiving and I'm over here like as my aunt going, I love Thanksgiving. My favorite deals is cranberry and vodka. You know what I mean? Like that was my whole deal, was just doing her and I'm like, I look back, I'm like, everybody
easy how you word that in this Alabama here.
What, cranberry and vodka?
No, how you do her.
How you doing your aunt over there?
Easy.
Everybody does their aunt at a barbecue, right? Yeah. So I was like, nah, just, we all got that family member. We can do an impersonation of them to the max. And now it's, it's just every drunk person I do. It goes back to my aunt. But yeah, I just took that story of her, like just getting blasted at a function and saying stupid stuff. And I thought that was just going to be it. I mean, I just thought, there was no practicing. There was, and again, right? I think about it now and I'm like, what was I doing?
How the hell did you pull it off? It's crazy.
Well, I didn't when I heard it back.
No, they were laughing. At least in your head, they were.
Yeah, somebody was. But that's like the moment in comedy when you kind of move on to the next level, is when you can actually hear the crowd, when you're not, that rush, whatever you do, when you're doing it first and you're kind of in that zone, I'm sure it's like sports or what, when they're like, I couldn't hear the crowd. The goal was big. That's kind of like rush.
You're in the zone, so to speak.
Yeah, you're in that zone.
Yeah.
And I was just in that adrenaline rush because I'd never had that adrenaline rush before. So looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't. But like you graduate, and the more you do it, where you can actually take a step back out of your head and analyze what they're doing. Who is that? Now, of course, anybody in entertainment, especially comedy, when I'm on stage, if there's 400 people laughing, I will find the dude or the lady that's got her arms crossed, and it pisses me off more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
If there's 400 people and 399 of them are laughing, I see this lady and I'm like, why ain't she laughing? What's happening? I'm about to attack her.
I'm the same way with music. Like I'm like, why is this person not having a good time? It's so hard. It's so hard for me to go. Well, maybe they are having a good time. Maybe that's that's just the way they show it. Maybe they don't got to dance because I think about myself when I go out and I'm so socially awkward in crowds. I'm that person.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Like there's comedy crowds where you're like, I hate this crowd. And you'll go out, to say hey to them and shake hands. And every person comes up and is like, oh my God, that was the funniest thing ever. You're like, why were you not laughing? I just needed some. And then you'll be like, hey, crush that. Great night. Love this crowd. Love this club. Can't wait. Going to sell a ton of merch. And everybody just walks right past you. And you're like, what was happening when I heard it. I for sure heard it. So you just never know on that. But that's just that entertainer. You're like, I want to get all of them on my side. When you could go, if I look at the table next to them, the lady's peeing her pants, but that's not what I need. I mean, I will come back to her peeing her pants, but I'm looking at the lady with her arms crossed right next to her. Maybe she's mad because she's getting pee on her shoes. You never know what's happening. Justice, I don't know what to think about you. Do you have any questions?
I do. So
I don't know what to think about you.
I can't tell if you are hating me or you're now the person with your arms crossed.
Listen, I am not that guy. I am a comedian at heart with no jokes. I love comedy.
Well, that's half of the comics that are out there at open mics.
And I love the people who can make people laugh. Like, I grew up with a group of friends that was no hold bar. They was ice cold.
Yes.
Like nobody was off limits. If it was your night to get joked on, just hold on because you just got to roll with it. So I appreciate that. So
go ahead. No, I was just going to say, I mean, that's where I get material now. You got group text or you got a group chat on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. And you're like, man, if they ever get a hold of this group chat, we're all going to jail.
We all going. It's over. We're
all careers are over.
It's over. We all canceled.
Yeah, but I'm also like somebody will say something funny. I'm like, wait, is that really you? Did you steal that from a show or a comic? And they're like, no, that's just a story I tell. And I'm like, okay, tell it again because this time I'm going to take notes.
There's some good people out
down there, and I'm going to come up with the best story ever after.
And now he's going to have a whole bit about asking a girl out and showing up without your wallet.
Oh, you just wait. Listen, hold on a second. We go come back to that, Chad. You ain't off the hook on that one.
You're a mess. You're a mess.
You're not off the hook on that one. Hey, so given that most of the time the checkers and wreckers and what the heckers is based around some racing aspect.
Okay.
You do any racing jokes? You compliment our.
Yeah, you could easily make fun of NASCAR.
He said racing, not racial. Just so you know.
He said NASCAR.
I'm messing with you.
Well, he is from Alabama. I gotta be careful.
I know that's what I'm saying.
That was Chad's version.
I was making a joke.
That was Chad's version of being funny.
Think I'm doing my hands.
If I have to explain the joke, Justice, it's not funny.
Listen.
All right, I have a whole This is all my racist stuff, so I'm going to get that out of the way. Thanks. You didn't tell me there was a black guy on the show. Thanks, Chad.
Yeah, he left that out so you wouldn't say no.
I need some whiskey. There's nobody here. It's just my dog.
Your dog brings you whiskey?
That's
a heck of a trick.
I don't have any racing jokes. I need to.
Yeah, I need
to come. Can I come hang out with y'all at some races?
Absolutely.
100%.
Everybody asks us, Chad. Let's set these guys up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll drink some Bush Apple. And
38 events a year.
I'll drink whatever's in that wooden cup that Justice is drinking out of.
Listen, this is some Basil Hayden rye right here.
Oh, rye. What you're rolling tonight?
You got rye money. I didn't know they were talking.
Hey, Hendrick Motorsports right there.
Yes, Hendrick Motorsports. I work for Haas Factory Team. We're rubbing pennies together.
We won that chip. You got to celebrate. Cheers.
Shit.
Well, y'all all about to be out of a job because of Michael Jordan, is what I heard. So,
hey, listen, Jordan playing with shoe money. He don't give a damn.
He don't give a damn.
Chris,
I'll tell you this, man. I went to Talladega. I've been many times, of course, in Alabama. But now I got spoiled because. One, I don't think the infield is as crazy as it used to be back when I used to go. I've heard it's kind of tame.
It's coming back.
Well, I was going to say, could you imagine? Because we went and shot content on the boulevard.
Chris you should send that to him and show him.
And I was about to say, could you imagine us on the boulevard with Casio?
Oh my God!
I'd actually come.
Let's go.
It was your idea to begin
Not
with,
like
and you
that.
bailed.
Let
Not
it
like
fly.
that. What do you mean it was my idea? All right.
You're the one that you're the one in the
All
group
right.
text. Hey boys, bring your
All
shirts.
right.
We should go
Listen.
shoot some
Let it
content.
fly.
Listen, let it fly.
I was, I saw some wild things the first few times I went. Luckily I was with Rick and Bubba, and we were in the infield and they were grand marshals for a race. Remember they were in the truck.
Yeah.
So we were standing down there for that, and then I got spoiled. They took us up in the big VIP suite, and they had our names out.
Yeah.
With dinner plates. I look in front of me, and it's literally the governor of the state of Alabama. I'm like, what? We're right at the finish line. I'm like, well, now this is a whole different way to watch a race up here.
Well,
we can't get
put
you the
on a
plates,
pit
but we
box.
might get you the warden of the state of Alabama.
The warden. Do we know the warden? Is somebody here familiar with the warden?
We can put him on a pit box.
We can put him on a pit box, but we can't get you
That
plates.
sounds hot.
No, you would love it.
In the pit box?
On the pit box, you set up atop of
Sit up
above
with the crew
pit
chief
crew.
and the engineers.
Oh, there we go.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, they're in the shade. Yeah, they got a cush up there.
Oh yeah.
I did I went to the Galleria and did the pit crew challenge. They had like all the TV and radio stations.
Yeah.
They'd time it.
Yep.
Big
How'd
boy
you
right
make out?
here. What do you think I did on the pit crew challenge? Everybody
Jack
had
man.
He was a gas man.
Jack man or gas man.
Yeah.
Got that weight going, son.
That's
Got that weight on the jack.
That's it.
And my job was so easy that I was critiquing everybody else. You dropped a nut, man. They're like, dude, you
Get on your goddamn game.
yeah, all you did was get your fat ass and fall on a jack. Is all you did, Casio. Shut up. I'm like, well, I didn't slow us down. All I know is NBC 13's kicking our ass right now.
Oh yeah, it becomes competitive quick.
It's super competitive. Now it's all athletes.
Yeah. Literally,
Former
it's
football player, right?
100%. Lots of football players.
That's exactly
Football,
what it is.
baseball, swimmers.
Well,
Yeah, super
Casio, just so you know, this guy over here was a pit crew guy. This guy was a D1 football player and held a state record. No, he was not. He was a
Demon
deacon.
Deacon.
That's a Wake Forest guy.
And he was the fastest guy in North Carolina for
16 years.
16 years. Sorry, I gave him
17,
extra
16, not sure.
Fastest guy doing what?
Well, not stealing shit. Let me tell you that.
You know he was thinking running from the cops. You know
It was all over his face. It was all over his face. That's why he gave that
That's
look.
where
He leaned
Casio
in.
was going, running
He
from
leaned
the
into the
cops.
camera.
He's got
He did.
Fastest pit crew.
Damn.
Fastest at letting it fly. I don't know anything about
runner. He was a
Casio
sprinter.
leaned in like fast and said, "What? Where we going?
Oh, man.
How many TVs can you carry?
Yeah, how many? What you got?"
I did not. I would like to know the answer, but was not thinking.
Oh man, good times,
Dude,
boys.
Checkers, Redneckers, and Homewreckers is my new favorite podcast, man.
Man, I love that. Name's written down right here, too.
I might title the episode that.
Oh
How in
man,
the world did all three of y'all meet?
Rick and I met when I was in the country music world still. We had a mutual friend and through performances and things like that. And then we both ended up here in North Carolina. And then I was playing a show here and he brought Justice out one night to watch a show. And then we started this podcast. Rick and I started it off. And
Just the two of us.
Yeah.
Think how lame that fucking thing was.
Yeah. And then we brought Justice in, or he brought Justice in, and it really took off. And
they said, "Hey, won't you come on and join us for one night?" And here we are, like 70 episodes later.
Hey, give me some credit for talent acquisition.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, look, as y'all know, then you've been doing this a long time. As you know, you got to be having fun at it, because if not, it becomes work, and this really isn't work. I mean, we all want to get paid.
We have a blast, bro.
All of my podcasts, though, I have to go. If I take the money out, am I still willing to sit down and talk to this dude? And all of them are a resounding yes. I get to the end of all of them. We're like,
Even the one you had me on.
No, that one got canceled.
Yeah, well.
'cause we had you on it, but the rest of them flourishing. Flourishing.
Well, since we're making no money, we must really enjoy
we're
talking
killing
to
it.
each
We're
other.
killing it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I didn't say I was making a lot, but I don't have a real job yet, so I'm good.
No, that's fantastic.
So what's 26 look like for you? You back out on the road?
Yeah, I in the past year have decided to start going back out on the road more.
Yeah, I hate that I missed you when you came to Charlotte.
Divorce and depression will do that to you. I decided to bury my head into what I was doing, having fun, and that's going on the road doing comedy. And so I started getting back into it. And of course, like anything, once you're out, it's kind of hard to get back into it full swing. Your contacts are gone, and some of the clubs you went to are closed, and some of the comics you worked with are dead. And so it's a whole different ball game. Plus, we're in a whole different ball game of social media and the whole deal. And so one of my podcasts I had going on, shout out to the X5 podcast. I met a comic there named Uncle Laser, who is an absolute, I don't know, he's a train wreck. He's my buddy, but he's an absolute train wreck. I talked to him at 10 a.m. today, and he had not been asleep. And I said, hey, I don't know when this drops, but as of that time, I said, hey, buddy, it's a Tuesday. I said, what happened? And he goes, I was just watching Monday Night Football, and
the game didn't go that long.
I know it went into overtime.
Exactly. He goes, I just got away from me. And then he sets the phone. He goes, I got this joke I want to run by you. And so he's running the joke and he's pouring. I go, what are you doing, dude? He goes, oh, I'm pouring a scotch. And I'm like, you haven't been to bed and it's 10:30. You have nothing to do today? And he goes, I got a podcast this afternoon. I'm like, hey, man, here's the end of this joke. You need to take a nap. But he is an absolute train wreck. But we met as a guest. He did social media. He blasted off on social media and overnight started doing it. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Kill Tony, which if not, for those that are listening, it's the number one thing you can do as a comic for your career, pretty much. It's like American Idol. It's like Star Search. It's like being on the Tonight Show. Millions of views. It is a podcast. And you go up and you do 1 minute in front of Tony Hinchcliffe and 3 celebrity guests. And that could be from Ric Flair to Shane Gillis to an athlete to Adam Ray to Dave Attell or an actor, anybody. Mm-hmm. It's a celebrity panel. You do a minute. Then they tell you how your minute did. They might make fun of you. They're definitely going to make fun of you regardless. Then they have a conversation with you, which is where a lot of people shine. And then that literally gets millions of views a week. There's whole Reddit threads to it. It's a whole universe. Wow. And he popped off on that. He popped off on social media, went on there. And his first time, now think about this. First time I told you I did stand up was a Saturday night in Birmingham, Alabama, and there was 80 people in a room that held 90. Okay. His first time ever doing stand up was on Kill Tony. So he's got a full-fledged, sold-out, hundreds of people comedy show and millions of people watching on the podcast when it comes out, which is absolutely mind-boggling to me. But we met on my podcast, and he was like, man, we got through the pod, and he was like, you do stand-up? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, hey, I'm doing a show in Mobile tonight. And I was like, yeah, that's why we booked you. You were routing through. And he's like, hey, you should come pop in on the show, do a guest set on the show. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's figure it out. Let's do it. Went down and did Mobile with him. He said, hey, come do New Orleans with me tomorrow night. Did New Orleans with him. And then after New Orleans, he was like, hey man, just go ahead and check my calendar and whatever show you want to do, just call me. You meet with somebody like you guys, you meet with somebody, you click.
Clicks.
Yeah. We think the same way. We help each other write. I've been in the business for so long that I can watch him and, hey, why don't you try it this way? Or here's a tag or here's a callback. He helps me with the same thing because we have the same humor. And if you're going to do something, especially comedy, it's like a band. It's like anything else. Sure. It's like a pit crew. You guys got to spend a lot of time together. So if you don't mesh, it's going to cause some problems.
Yep. Yeah, you got to mesh.
Yeah. And so we're on the road. And when you're on the road as a comic, you're in the hotel. A lot of times you're in the same hotel room. Then we're getting up and we're eating all day and we don't know anybody in town hardly. So we're going to spend the time hanging out together. Then we're doing the show together. Then we're hanging out after the show. So you're like with them. And luckily, man, we just had a fantastic click. It's a great hang. I'm actually going out there Thursday. I'll be going out to do a show at Sunset Comedy Club Friday with him, which is huge. One of, if not Mothership is Joe Rogan's, but Sunset's the second biggest out there. So we're going to do a show out there Friday, and then Monday I'll try to get on Kill Tony. I don't know if y'all know how that works, but it's a straight bucket pool. They have regulars that can come in, like Laser. Uncle Laser is a regular. So anytime he wants to go up, he can go up, or they'll call him and go, hey, come out and do a set if you're in town. So they have the regulars, but the rest of them are pulled literally names out of a bucket. And they have the bar next to the comedy club is all comics waiting to get their name. Like 300 comics were there the last time I went. And you just sit there for hours while they're doing this live show. Wait. You can't watch it because you're in the bar next to them. And they'll have a runner come up and they'll go, Chad Bearden, you're the next comic. Come up. And everybody's like, woo. And really we're like, oh, wow, it could have been me. And then you run up, go next door, literally walk on stage and do your 1 minute.
So you got to be ready.
Yeah, you got to be. But the fun part is you're just sitting there and every name, because there's limited. They're only going to do it for 2 hours maybe ish.
Right.
So there's only maybe 10 names they can draw because everybody's got an interview. They've got regulars. They're not going to go too long because it's a show. So like every name that goes off and more time goes by, you're like, I got less time to make it. And imagine 300 comics in a bar just drinking because they're nervous and doing other stuff.
Where's this at? Where's the bar?
Austin, Texas. It's literally right next door. It's called Shakespeare's. They've had it a couple places, but on Kill Tony night, Shakespeare's is closed and it's only comics in there waiting to get pulled up. It's pretty wild.
Wow.
Pretty wild. So I'm going out there this weekend. Then after New Year's, the 2nd and 3rd, I'll be in Bloomington, Minnesota. Never been there, but they have a comedy.
It's going to be chilly.
Yeah, look cold. The fun part is it's at the Mall of America. Never been. I'm a wrestling fan. They had a WCW event there back in the day. So that'll be fun. I just want to be able to say I saw that. So then I got that. I got Tupelo and all the little podunk towns in Alabama I can find. If they'll pay me to come to the bar, I'll just come to the bar. So, yeah, man, I'm just anywhere. Again, you got to check. I'm showing up, but I don't need to check to come hang in a race with y'all. Come on.
Well, we'll get you a race for sure. If people want to see those dates, where should they go look at them?
Social media at the Casio Kid. Real simple. Follow me there. All over. Right now, I'm banned from Facebook.
Again?
That was a picture of a black guy, and he told me he was fast, and I asked him how many TVs.
That was the end of that.
I got banned. Everything is at the Casio Kid. I'm a shameless promoter. I'll put it out. All my pots, all my appearances, the whole deal. All of it's at the Casio Kid.
I like it. Fellas, you got any other questions for Casio?
This has been fucking great.
2 last ones, Chad.
Go ahead.
Bring it.
If you're a wrestling fan, what's an example of behind the wall wrestling show? What's your show for a wrestling fan to gravitate to? Your pod, sorry.
One of mine or just any of them?
One of yours.
Woo! A lot of mine are behind the paywall.
That's what he's asking.
What does that mean?
Yeah. It means you got to pay to be able to listen to it.
Like you got, Like we have some that are on YouTube you can watch for free. I do a weekly one free with Nick Patrick, the heel referee. But most of them you have to pay to see behind the deal.
And the one that's free on YouTube, is that on the Casio Kid?
Yeah, you can go to Podcast Heat Wrestling. That's the whole channel, and we'll run to the live shows. We do once a week live there. And actually, if it comes out by whenever this, I don't know how far ahead you are, but I'll let y'all know if it comes out
tomorrow. Yours will come out tomorrow.
It will not be out tomorrow, but I do have a new wrestling podcast coming out. and I shouldn't say podcast. I have a new wrestling show coming out where we're doing sketches and entertainment and funny interviews. And I can't tell you who's in it because it's not announced yet. If you're a wrestling fan, you will know who they are. One of the legends, and but that'll be out on YouTube pretty soon. I'll get that to you whenever. So it is.
But for now, Podcast Heat Wrestling.
Yeah, you can check that out and see. If you want to go back, search Casio's Cut. That is my failed personal solo one, and that's where you can see Chad joining us. I was hoping that would get a copyright strike somewhere and they'd take it down so nobody could see it, but it's still up there for now.
Well, there's that.
Last question, then I'm out.
Yeah.
Why? And this hurts a little bit because I had a rough weekend. Why an Indianapolis Colts t-shirt?
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
I'm a Colts fan. Well, look at this.
Yeah, I know.
It Colts.
It looks like a billboard. Okay, why?
Well, in Alabama, we don't have pro teams.
Okay.
Big football fan, and
make the connection for me.
All you got's Fox and CBS, and so you had to be a fan of. There's a lot of Saints fans and Dolphins fans and Cowboys fans,
Titans,
and now the Titans. This is before the Titans. And in high school, I thought their uniforms looked cool. They had Jeff George. I thought he was super cool. They had Harbaugh. And then all of a sudden, they got Peyton, and that was it. Marshall Faulk, Edgerrin James.
Wow.
Everybody just had teams. And I was like, nobody's a Colts fan. So I think I like the Colts. I like the blue. I like the white. I go to games every year now. We call him the gimmick attorney. He does a bunch of things, but one of his things is copyrights and trademarks. So he does, if you're a wrestler, he will trademark your name for you so you can keep selling that merch.
Follicle Phenom.
Yeah, we can get that like that. Follicle Phenom.
Will we spell it right, Chad, or will we screw up the spelling?
Oh.
Ouch. Shots fired.
Sounds like there's some history there.
I had shirts made for these guys that I paid for, and I didn't realize that his name got spelled wrong on the thing. I got him another one made.
I wasn't mad at you.
He's still taking shots about it.
Wait, you got him a shirt and this.
Follicle had an extra L or something.
You took a little liberty on some extra consonants, I think. But again, this is not an English class, so whatever. Let's move on.
I got to stutter. All
right. Thank you for the answer on the Colts. Yes. Now, Podfather, you can wrap it up. Go ahead.
Who are you a fan of? The Panthers? You're
me?
Ohio, Cleveland?
No. So wait for this.
Hold on. Let me answer. He asked a goddamn question. First and foremost, Ohio State Buckeyes. Secondarily, NFL, the Miami Dolphins, which is why I asked you this question.
Sure.
My father, growing up in Cleveland, hung out in some bars in Grand River with a guy named Don Shula. And when I was a kid, the first thing I remember was him telling me, "No, he's a goddamn good coach and a good man. We're going to root for this team." That's how I started rooting for the Dolphins.
That's awesome.
That was it. That's why I asked you about the Colts, because I couldn't make the connection between that and Alabama. But I just saw them and they look cool on television, and nobody was rooting for them. Justice,
I'm a Niners guy. Niners.
Yeah, you wore a hat last night, actually.
Yeah. 49ers guy. And like we didn't have the Panthers when I was young, right? And you was either a Cowboys fan.
You're a Carolina guy.
I'm a Carolina guy.
Okay.
Yep. So you didn't have the Panthers then, so it was either the Redskins or Dallas.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, neither one of those, because Roger Craig was cool. The 49ers uniforms was cool. Montana was amazing.
Montana. Yeah.
So
it's true.
Yeah.
Well, when the starter jackets came out, there was a lot of Niners fans in my
A lot of Niners fans.
A lot of Raiders fans.
Yeah.
A lot of Charlotte Hornets fans when the
Charlotte Hornets starter jacket.
Charlotte Hornets starter jacket was woo. That was
you had that. You was the shiznit, baby.
Yeah. Still, I see people wear them out, and I'm like, that's fire.
Yeah, that color scheme back then was amazing, dude.
Oh yeah.
So,
Man, you guys, this has been we've been going a while. That flew by. See, that's what
You
it's
was having
about.
fun, Casio. That's what I'm talking about.
Let's do a part 2 right now.
Let's go.
I gotta get some.
let it fly.
Yeah,
Let it
I
fly.
got to get some more
Let
beer
it
if that's
fly.
going to
I gotta
happen.
let it fly.
All right. Well, this is fun. We got to get you out to a race. It'll be fun. We had to. I was gonna say we had some WWE folks come hang out with us for like almost a week last year. So we
Who was it?
Or was
So
that?
we had-
no, wasn't that the NXT?
It was
crew?
NXT
yeah,
crew.
it's so but it all falls kind of
Yeah. NXT's their umbrella.
Yeah, so we had Izzy and Tatum and Trick Williams and Josh Briggs.
Oh, that's a cool crew.
Yeah, and they were great. They were.
Remember that dude jumped in the golf cart with me and he's like, "What's your name?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Rick." He's like, "Well, I'm Trick." He's like, "We're the Trick and Rick show." I'm like, "Whatever you say, dude. Whatever the fuck you say."
Yeah, he played
He's
football
okay,
in South
man.
Carolina. Yeah,
Look, he literally wore a leather vest with nothing else. Every time I looked over at him, I'm like, "Oh my god!" I'm like running into muscles. I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here." He was a cool dude.
they were so good. And then
He's a great dude.
Rick's texting me. He's like, "I got to figure out how to get a picture with Izzy."
Oh yeah, man.
I was like,
That blonde,
how about
she
we just
was-
ask her?
Boom, she was bringing it.
Just ask her.
And so he came back. I was
Yeah,
like,
Chad's
I was
so
like-
good
I was
with
like, "Hey,
women.
Izzy."
He paved the way for me.
I was like, "Hey, Izzy, will you take a picture with my guy Rick?" She's like, "Yeah, come here, Ricky."
Oh yeah. Put that up on the screen. Where is that?
Yeah, but
Oh,
unfortunately, I forgot my wallet, so the plans fucked up later that night. Too bad.
I was
I
waiting
ended
on
up
it.
going to Taco Bell.
Too bad.
Taco Bell in some movie I can't even remember. All right, well,
You gotta
has
remember the movie.
dude, I could not tell you that movie if my life depended on it right now. I'd never seen it before. I've never seen it since. It was one of those movies that have weird cult following.
Can't we say her first name, Justice? And I won't know.
No, we're not. Anyways,
Okay.
so this has been another great episode of
And that's a wrap
Checkers,
on the podcast.
Reggers, and What the Heckers.
Does
With my
her
guy,
name start
Cass,
with the
Cass.
same letter as one of the guys on this pod right now?
We gone.
All right.